Yellow. What's up, everybody? What is up? Make sure everything is working on my end. Oh, crud. Oh, that's why. Shoot. Well, I forgot to put it on ultra latency, low latency for YouTube. That's why I was like, oh, I hope everything's working, but whoops. Oh, well. But yes, we are using Rumble Studios again. We are utilizing the ability to use OBS as an ingestion as opposed to using like Rumble's kind of layout, which is not terrible or anything, but it gives me more, I have more stuff I can do in terms of being able to like transition better and stuff like that. So very cool, very cool. If you're new to the show, we talk about pop culture, from the good, the bad, the ugly, spiritual, you know, all that fun stuff. Take a look at what's happening in the world of video games or anime or manga or movies. And we will either laugh at what's happening or we'll support what's happening. You know, if you're new to the show, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Make sure to punch that thumbs up and to turn on notifications when I go live. Right now, we are on Rumble, YouTube, X, and Kick. I don't think I've hooked up Twitch yet, but I mean, the way I talk, Twitch might not be happy, but it might also be funny too to do that as well. I need to, I don't think I can I extend like my mic out? I can. Okay. I think I didn't fully extend it out because my my other mic that I was using would like lower it. So hopefully, now that we have kind of a better setup here, should be good. I also, it's not exactly like one of those like arm mics. But yeah, thanks for everyone for coming to hang out. We got a bunch of topics we can talk about. We've got quite a bit. Some interesting ones that I found, but more importantly, kind of the ones I display on the YouTube thumbnails. Nintendo is going to just stop and shut down any Nintendo Switch successor speculation in the upcoming Direct that they're going to have. A rather old article, but I thought it was hilarious because apparently Capcom did a survey and realized that apparently players care more about gameplay than they do about superb graphics. Amazing that you could not catch that on way earlier. And then, of course, more Acolyte stuff, which apparently a former Lucasfilm employee has come out and said that he's embarrassed that he is embarrassed and ashamed that he worked at Lucasfilms and on Star Wars after the Acolyte. Talk about rough. But yeah, let's hop into here. Let's have some fun. Some fun with some giggling and all that stuff. So a rather old study, but I can't recall if I ever saw this. Let's see, is this gonna load? No. Well, bam. So, yeah, this was like 9 months ago, but it kind of showed up and it was kind of interesting. I found another article like over in a Popular Mechanics, but apparently there was a study, and if you played Pokemon as a kid, you apparently have what's called a Pokemon brain as an adult. Very interesting. I found a video that was like 2 minutes, 58 seconds, but maybe we'll just go ahead and we'll just read the article instead. So rather old one, 2019, this was done. So apparently this is around when like Detective Pikachu came out, but it caught my eye. says in the last 2 decades, few video game franchises have risen to the international acclaim like Pokemon. Over 100 games, card games, and movies have all left their mark on a generation, and that's not just a turning of phrase, scientists said. So according to a recent study, not so recent anymore, but according to a study from Stanford, adults who played Pokemon as children have a little wrinkle in their brain's visual cortex that activates more in response to pictures of Pokemon characters than those who did not. And I apologize in advance if you hear me sniffling and stuff. My allergies have been whooping my ass today for some weird reason. But anyway, the study takes advantage of generational popularity. Those who first played Pokemon Red and Green, that would be me, technically blue in the US, as children are now grown up. Published in May in Nature Human Behavior, the study offers a chance to look at how dedicated regions in the visual cortex develop in young, malleable brains. By design, Pokemon often resemble, that'd be funny, often resemble real-world animals. Maybe here and there. What's up, Komanga? Not so much, though. They have distinct faces and often make unique sounds, embedding them within a user's memory. Through testing, the Stanford study was able to show not only that adults who have Pokemon experience demonstrate distinct distributed cortical responses to Pokemon, but also that they experience retinal eccentricity during childhood can predict the locus of Pokemon responses in adulthood. Locus? Is that really supposed to say locus or focus? Not exactly sure. So while Pokemon altering one's brain is apparently a real phenomenon, or phenomena, the study author says there's no need to panic. The visual cortex is one of the brain's most complex mechanisms. Oh, geez, I can't even read. It's one of those days again. Comprised of hundreds of millions of neurons. The brains of young Pokemon gamers might be changed while playing games, but the brain's neurochemistry is so complex that it can withstand even the most adorable Eevee. So parents already hearing about the latest Pokemon release have no reason to be nervous, the study says. There might even be a casual relationship between the wrinkle and success, says study co-leader and former grad student Jesse Gomez. I would say to those parents that the people who are scanned here all have their PhDs. He told Stanford magazines they're all doing very well. Well, we don't care about the people who did the study. So apparently there's a YouTube video here. I always love like the stock footage of like, you know, people that they like that are explaining the study and stuff, and it's like, all right, we need to like have some filler footage here, so can you just like sit there and just smile and pretend like, oh, I'm having such a fun time. I always like it's so because they're not actors. I just think it's funny. Yeah, back in the day when it was awesome. All right, so this probably is just repeating like what it says, but there you go. I thought that was kind of interesting. Like I said, this is an old article. This one was published back of 2019, But some reason it came up on my, even though I don't use MSN, I do like MSN because it actually just actually has a bunch of like different tabs, and one of them is gaming. And because I look at a lot of the gaming stuff, they'll throw stuff up there and whatnot. You know, the government once again spying on you by appealing to your interest, but very interesting. Ted Cruz, Zodiac Killer over on Rumble says, wouldn't this apply to anything nostalgic? Probably, but I just think it's interesting. But according to the guy, don't worry, it's harmless. Wait, Popular Mechanics actually have a gaming like area? Huh. Okay. Well, there you go. A rather old article. Oki says, this seems like a useless study to me. Your brain reacts to what game you like normally or movie. Well, the thing is that if you're constantly looking into it, your brain could develop to something a little bit more special when that specific thing pops up. But like old Ted Cruz over on Rumble says, it's possible this could be with anything nostalgic too. And really, from what I've kind of looked on, like they still kind of don't understand how nostalgia works, but this definitely could be a reason too. I'll tell you what, like anytime I hear old school songs, 80s songs, 90s songs, you know, your anime, your video games, it's makes me miss it. I'm just like, man, back in the day when you didn't have a care in the world. Well, here's another article that pulled up here. I was looking at the comments. This one was written 4 days ago, but from Early Games. Is Dragon Ball Z. What does the Z stand for? Dragon Ball is undeniably one of the most iconic and globally recognized shows. The franchise boasts an extensive array of merchandise, movies, and multiple series. However, when people think of Dragon Ball, the first thing that comes to mind is typically Dragon Ball Z. Very true. Yeah, Dragon Ball is like even though it's like obviously the beginning of the series, it's really an umbrella term. And you can even say Super falls into there as well as GT. But where does the Z in Dragon Ball Z originate? Today, we're here to unravel that mystery, and the answer might just surprise you. So apparently, people have found that it's possibly for 2 reasons. They say there are a few reasons. Well, you say 2 up here, and then you say a few. If it's only 2, then say a couple, because a couple is 2. A few means like 4 or 5 or something like that. That's how I look at it. But anyway, that's being nitpicky on my end. One of them was explained by manga artist Akira Toriyama. Well, don't just say manga artist. He's the one that created it. Like, say the creator. At the time of creating this part of the story, he thought it would be the final installment of Dragon Ball series. Very true. Dragon Ball GT and Super were not even a thought back then. So, to signify the end of the series, he simply chose the final letter of the alphabet and added it to the title. Well, technically over there, they say Z, not Z. But there's another theory that has also been stated before as to why the series continued as Dragon Ball Z. There had been multiple names in the running for the second part of the manga, like Dragon Ball 2 or Dragon Ball 90. Someone working on the Dragon Ball anime explained that it was initially supposed to be called Dragon Ball 2, but Toriyama couldn't read the 2 and accidentally mixed it up with the letter Z. That would be pretty embarrassing for Toriyama, though, and would mean to hide this fact he made up a news story for the internet behind the origin of the Z in the name. That's not too far-fetched, considering he's forgotten certain characters like Launch, for example. So I actually wouldn't put it past it that he legitimately just forgot because he's forgotten other stuff. Or he forgot other stuff as well. He's no longer with us, obviously. And also, you could technically look this up here real quick. You could technically point out that very well could be because Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 in Japan is actually... Oh, wait, never mind. It's called Dragon Ball Z. It's called Dragon Ball Z2. But it kind of come close. No honor? What do you mean, no honor? Toriyama-san? Is that what you want me to say? Toriyama-san is no longer with us. RIP. So either way, the name is iconic now and forever be DBZ. DBZ just flows well, too. Imagine a DB2. Would just look weird, eh? No, not really. I mean, if that was how it would be originally, just give it time. No honor, he created it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he just manga artist. Well, yeah, but he created the series. Come on now. Who wrote this? Sabrina something. Sabrina on. Do your research. Wait, that's it? Okay, well, that's not the only answers I found as well. Some people pointed out in the comments here. Well, yeah, we'll just point it out. Well, someone said it stands for Zen, which actually isn't. That doesn't sound true. This guy, oh yeah, someone even downvoted it too. RIP. But this guy, Colin, is correct because I did read other stuff, and another reason, possible reason, is that it stands for Zenkai, and as anybody in Dragon Ball Z knows, the Zenkai is the name of the, or is the word that they used, I think, even though technically unofficially, that's the word used that whenever the Saiyans get a power-up, it's called the Zenkai boost. Now, this guy also is correct, from what I've read as well, in saying that that word Zenkai means the end or final time, which technically goes hand in hand and could be actually correct. And wouldn't even surprise me because GT stands for Grand Tour, and that's talking about the side mission or the side trip of the Dragon Ball universe. And then Super comes from the Super Dragon Balls. So this guy is actually correct, and that's what I read elsewhere too. So I don't get why this person said, here's a few reasons, and then only listed 2 when I found like 4, including her lookup. So really weird, but interesting nonetheless. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, what the Z stands for in Dragon Ball Z. What's this? So next on the list, if you like Uzaki-chan, apparently Uzaki-chan wants to hang out, goes on indefinite hiatus. Now, one would ask, why would I pick, why did this article catch my eye? I have no idea. Possibly the picture. But in any case, I don't even know what the story's about, honestly. Isn't she like a teacher or something? And she's like, I don't know. Z for zesty, says Komanga. Been listening to zombie Christmas songs again, and it's great, says Loki. But interesting, more so on the fact it's because the creator is apparently recovering from the effects of COVID-19, which I actually also saw an article amazingly talking about on how people who, are saying, ever since after COVID-19, seems to take a lot more time to get over like colds that we could, get over quicker back in the day. You think? Komanga says, oh no, Uzaki-chan. Uzaki-chan, no. What are you doing there? No, Uzaki-chan. So in a tweet, the official account for the series announced Takahashi Oishima, the creator of the series, was recovering from the disease. Wouldn't it be a virus? Not so much a disease. Never mind. I'm not opening up that can of worms. Anyway, in a follow-up tweet on his personal account, he said that while he's nearly recovered physically, he's experienced after effects and cannot find the energy to work on the series. Well, I mean, I can relate to that. Just make sure that it's not depression. Because I will definitely say after COVID-19 and all the bullshit that's happened, the world has been a lot more depressing. That's for sure. Z is from Mother Russia, says Ted Cruz. Uzaki-chan wants to hang out is popular with fans for its lighthearted comedy, romance, and fan service with its curvy heroine. I don't really see the fan service. However, the latter reason has led to criticism from Western critics who take issue with fan service in exaggerated proportions in the anime. Well, those Western critics are... you know, they're retards, we'll say. And usually, weirdly enough, are the people who want to gatekeep the anime community, but then bitch about stupid crap like this. So unfortunately, this has led to threads and mean-spirited replies from Twitter users. It's available to watch on some douchebag website that's monopolizing on anime and do a shit job localizing stuff. We'll just say that. Uzaki-chan, I saw a bit of it. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm now intrigued. Well, I mean, that sucks that he's getting mean-spirited replies. Well, there's a mean supply right here. Apparently a cat that needs help. Seriously, us women need to put a stop to these body-shaming bigots. Oh my gosh. It's just this one person. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother reading about this. Gross asshole celebrating Uzaki-chan wants to hang out, going on infinite hiatus, including equivaling them to a fella by the name of Adolf Hitler. Odd-looking duck. Something about his eyes. I am curious real quick. Oh, apparently some people follow. That I follow this person. Okay. I was confused at like whose side this person was on, but apparently she's pissed off about, you know, the people bitching about Uzaki-chan being put on hiatus. It's a cool, chill anime. That's it. Greg, they want to bitch about everything. Crunchyroll, I got a story for you, says Loki. I got another one, and it's this one right here. Popular Science wrote 4 weeks ago why you should still buy physical copies of video games. Way to join the club. A little late there, Popular Science. But I this caught my eye because I'm like, okay, let's see here exactly what reasons they have, because I'm sure it's reasons that have already been talked about. Remember, folks, to make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. You know, Rumble, I'm doing your thing here, and I'm trying to do the campaigns. And I gotta have a minimum view of 10 viewerships. That ain't helping me. Honestly, I'm wondering, I do actually technically... I kind of want to see if I could pick a day and kind of do like a Norm Macdonald Man Great sales pitch, except with Rumble campaign ads. The thing is I would need enough viewerships, but maybe I could title it. I think that'd be really funny. Just an entire show of just reading all this stuff, but like not really giving a shit about it, which kind of defeats the purpose, but it's all in good fun. Anyway, let's see what popular science has to suggest to me of why I should buy physical copy video games. Let's see what we go. What's the fun in keeping a game all to yourself? Well, I own it. I have this is written, again, Popular Science, someone named Justin Pott. I'm sure he's gotten criticized for that last name or commented about his last name a lot. But haven't we all? So we got some keepers in this game here. Look at that. We got Zelda over here. Turtles in Time. Castlevania. Super Smash Bros. Now, why would they put Super Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back on top? I think Smash Brothers would be on top of that more. Got Super Mario Brothers over here. Very good game. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles arcade port. What else we got? Punch-Out. Why is it not Mike Tyson's Punch-Out? Super Mario Brothers RPG down here. Rad Racer, GoldenEye, Super Mario Kart, Final Fantasy XI, Mario Kart 64, Ninja Gaiden. Oh, get that Friday the 13th out of there. That doesn't need to be there. Castlevania, what is that? Castlevania something, Dracula X. 4? No, 5, Dracula X or something. The real name slips my mind. I mean, not a bad picture. I would just have placed the video games in a different order. So I have a shelf of Nintendo Switch games. Okay. First off, you're starting off this article poorly here. You're showing a picture of the classic retros, and you're saying, I've got some Nintendo Switch games here. It's like, okay, come on now. Like, bring in the retro. What are you talking about? Yeah, you actually own it. With digital, you don't. It's yours, and it can't be taken away like digital. Ding, ding, ding. You guys are hitting it on the head. But anyway, again, let's see what they have to say. I know I could buy the games online, and that it would probably be easier. Technically, not really. If it's a crap port, it's not easy. Like, the fans actually go, and the modding community actually go out of their way to fix some of the ports that you can digitally download. But I think physical copies of video games are just better, okay? Now, I'm in the minority here. Physical game sales are in a free fall. So according to, this is an interesting one. Oh, it's rather old, though. It's like 2 years old. Physical console games are quickly becoming a relatively niche market. It's because see, now this sort of stuff I think is bullshit because the companies are purposely pushing you to get digital. So to say it's becoming relatively niche because it's on a downfall, because they're straight up just not giving you a physical copies, of course it's going to show the numbers saying that digital is more important. That's what's bullshit, though. That's the same kind of thing that the companies use when it's like, when everyone over here is jacking off about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Oh, the pre-orders are skyrocketing and stuff like that. It's the same garbage that happened with The Last of Us Part 2. Look at how many returns happen. Like, they purposely just present those numbers and just want to boost them up high right away, so then they could just say, like, see, we did really good to, like, the higher-ups or whoever gives them money. The higher-ups will be like, oh, yeah, I guess that's what people want. No. Anyway, and in many cases, this makes sense. Online games happen mostly in the cloud, regardless of whether you buy a physical or digital copy. Who gives a crap about the cloud? And PC games at this point are more or less only available as a digital purchase. Or maybe the games nowadays for PC can actually run on PCs, and the physical games you can get of really good games from the past can't run on modern stuff. So you have to use like DOSBox or a virtual machine to actually play them. Or, bless the modding community, they actually go into the coding and fix stuff to actually make it playable or fix problems that are in really crappy ports. For me, though, when it comes to offline games, I prefer physical copy. I prefer physical copy in general. Is it enticing when, like, a game that's normally going for $40 or something is like $10 on Steam? Yes. And have I bought games like that? Absolutely. But there are tutorials out there that show you how to keep those games. I hate to say it. And I think a lot of people should be allowed to back up their digital games because you own it. The gaming companies don't want you to say that you own it. As far as I'm concerned, find a way to keep your shit. Digital equals less money to make things also. Recently, I wrote about why you should keep your DVDs and Blu-rays around, and there was a pretty big response. A lot of readers apparently feel strongly that there are benefits to buying a physical product as opposed to paying to download something. So here's why I think it's also better to buy a physical copy of the game whenever possible. You can lend them to a... Dude, really? Really? He didn't really specify that this isn't ranked or anything like that, but you're really starting off with the reason why, like the first reason is that you can lend them to friends. Are you... Come on, dude. Don't be dumb. Say it's because you can actually own it. Come on, man.
I am 30 or 40 years old and I do not need this.
I don't need this. I do not need this. Modern physical is a joke, though, and requires multiple patches. This is very true. That's why I don't feel bad when people download cracks of ported PC games or cracks of other games in general. Because people who crack them actually can get it to work. And you actually own it. Now, obviously, the source of where you get it from is determined on you, and if you want to take that risk, if there's not bloatware, attached to it and stuff like that. But that's up to you, not me. I don't care what you do. So this guy, this is a big one for me. Oh, please. If I pay for a digital download, I'm only paying for myself. If I have a physical copy of a game, I can lend it to my friends when I'm done playing. Dude, you... Oh, my gosh. I'm sorry, but when's the last time any of you guys, like, lend a game to a friend? Like, legitimately went out of your way to find a friend and be like, want to trade games? I can say, like, with my roommate, we've lended games, but literally I can just walk over to his door and be like, hey, do you have this game? Yeah, I just got done playing it. You want to play it? And it's like, yeah, sure. Like, okay, here you go. I mean, because I'm right there. This guy makes it sound like he has like a daily get-together with his buddies and be like, let's swap games. I mean, I used to do that back in the 90s, but we're not in the 90s anymore. It's a great way to share the experience of a game with a friend. I mean, this one, you could also technically, like, figure out how to copy your digital copy and then just put it on a thumb drive and give it to your friend. Be like, this is how you run this. Sorry. But anyway, it's the same reason. So they can play the full thing and we can talk about it. Or, and also, not to point out the fact, someone could easily, like... Steam is now doing what? The family thing, where you can, as long as you know the person and trust them and know that it's your relatives or something, you can literally let your family members play whatever games you want. So this one, I'm sorry, but this being like kind of your first go-to and declaring this one's a big one for me, that's a weak one, in my opinion. What is this game that I'm seeing down here? Pause it because it's bothering me. So it's the same reason I like buying physical copies of books, even though I also love reading ebooks. Lending things you love to friends feel great. Okay. And there's another related advantage. Your local library, which probably offers more than you think, can lend out video games. I love being able to try out a Switch game for a few weeks before deciding to buy it for myself. your local library. Now, I haven't been to a library in a while. Are they actually doing stuff like that? Dude, the last time I remember going to a library, I like rented out a Popeye comic because I was like, holy crap, they have a Popeye comic? I love Popeye. Give me that crap. I'm going to read it. That's like the last time I've ever gone to a library. And you can easily find PDFs online. Long-term ownership. Okay, this should have been number 1. So why you ranking it at number 2 is beyond me. Anyway, paying for a digital download gives you the right to play that game on your computer, a right that can disappear, and they are heavily pushing that. In some cases, the store that sold you the game may shut down, making it impossible to re-download the games. Again, more of a reason why those stores should allow you to download and keep your game forever. In other cases, the licensing may simply change. It doesn't matter. I bought that game at that time with that license. I should be able to re-download it as many times as I want. Or your account might be shut down. Well, that's just bullshit because it's like, well, it is bullshit because that's the biggest fear gamers are having is that if a company finds out that you don't line up with their ideology, they'll pull the plug. A physical copy of a game ensures, in most cases, that I can play the game. Even if that happens, it's mine until the disc physically stops working. And again, that's where you then rely on digital to back it up and tell any of the companies to go fist themselves when they get ass mad that there's ROMs out there and stuff. Because you can just simply say, I already bought the game. It's a backup copy. Friends, yay, there's a chance you can get it back. So a physical disc also could prove compatible with future systems. Okay. I mean, I kind of saw this coming because these are all the stuff I've already pointed out and many people have pointed out, but I just wanted to see just because it was from Popular Science. Anyway, so the Analog Pocket is a good example of what this might look like. It's a modern game console designed to play old Game Boy cartridges. Retron 5 can play Sega Genesis, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Famicom, Game Boy Color. I think that's it. Maybe Game Boy Advance. For some reason, I don't think so. But anyway, but that was emulation. And people going, ooh, and it's like, who gives a crap if it's emulation? You can literally hook it up to your HDMI output and play it. Weren't they doing something with like the N64 emulation too? I remember reading a long time ago about that. I wonder whatever became of that. Anyway, at some point in the future, there could be a similar device for playing current games, but because of copyright restrictions, such technology would also certainly not, quote, legally work with downloaded games. Who gives a crap? I bought the game. It's mine. And I made a backup copy of it. Any esoteric point, maybe, or an esoteric point, maybe, but one worth keeping in mind if you want to collect for long term. Sorry. An esoteric point, maybe, but one worth keeping in mind. That is not an esoteric point. That is literally like the main point that a lot of gamers are talking about. They look great on your shelf and sometimes come with bonuses. Not everyone is going to care about this, granted, but I like the way a collection of games look on shelves. I do too. I need to work on that. I enjoy physically browsing the collection while deciding what I want to play next, and I like seeing multiple console generations of games next to each other. Plus, sometimes these games come with useful printed materials inside. My copy of Hollow Knight, for example. See, this is why I think this guy doesn't understand and why he's throwing around esoteric when it comes to long-term ownership. This is why I think this guy is probably not an old school gamer. Is because he's saying stuff like Hollow Knight. Dude, you have an OG Legend of Zelda complete in box manual map. That manual is thick. That map is awesome. That's what people love. Now you got to pay like $200 to get the collector's edition of it. I mean, but the the retro bubble is a disaster anyway because people are pushing games that shouldn't be that expensive. Came with a giant fold-out world map. I love having this handy when I'm playing the game. There's something delightfully tactical about a physical map that contrasts nicely with the digital world. Not all games offer a bonus like this, granted, but when they do, it's great. Have you not looked into, like, the past games? Oh, my gosh. Guy's killing me, Smalls. He's killing me. You can save space on your device. Okay, that's a stretch. Like, I understand what you're talking about, but terabytes are not expensive anymore. Downloading multiple entire games can fill a hard drive quickly. Physical copies of games don't add to that. Now, there's a limit to this way of thinking. Plenty of games have required updates that are going to fill this device. I know what he's getting at, too, by the way, especially current game nowadays where, like, what was it, Call of Duty or something, to where they're combining everything together and it's like over 300 gigabytes or something like that. That's retarded and shouldn't be that way, by the way. But anyway, you can sell them when you're done. Now, this one I actually do agree with. This one isn't a big deal to me personally because I tend to just keep old games around. Then why are you listing, like, I collect Nintendo Switch, my copy of Hollow Knight? Like, dude, you're not convincing me that you have old games hanging around. I know I'm probably going to want to play them again later, but a nice thing about buying a physical copy of a game is that you can sell the game. Now, it's hard to get much of the original resale value back. Stores that buy used games don't offer a good rate, and selling on Craigslist and Facebook marketing can be a tedious process. The opportunity is there, though, and can cut into the cost of your gaming habits. Now, that brings up an interesting thing, because say you bought the game, say you backed up a copy of it, and you keep it, and you make a ROM of it, but you keep it, and then you sell your game later. Like, you still, at one point, own that game. And this is when, like, Nintendo and them are like, oh, ROMs and all this stuff. And it's like, what proof do you have that, like, that I never owned the game and I just made a backup copy of it? You know, because they went after, you know, devices that allowed you to copy their games and stuff. Because then they were saying, well, it's still our intellectual property. Fuck you. I bought the game. If I'm copying that game, it's mine. And then, you know, people that are anti-piracy are like, well, it's a gray area. It's like, what's the gray area? I own the game. I want to make a physical copy of it. It's literally, I think, in the FBI, that little FBI warning, to where as long as you keep everything yourself, like, you're good. You're golden. But again, I'm not exactly an expert on that sort of stuff, but I can tell you one thing. It's garbage. Alrighty. So next on the list, Nintendo shuts down Switch successor speculation in upcoming Direct. This comes from Niche Gamer. So Nintendo has firmly shut down any speculation that the Switch successor will appear in the upcoming Nintendo Direct. So rip anybody who was waiting for any news about, we'll just say, in lack of better terms, the Switch 2. Nintendo don't understand. This is very true. Sorry. Ugh. I thought I was going to sneeze, but then I didn't. You know that feeling you get when your nose gets really itchy and tingly, and then you think you're about to sneeze, but then you don't? And again, my apologies for constantly rubbing my nose. My allergies have been terrible. I don't know why. Probably a combination of humidity and the ragweed happening. I hate it. So in the recent tweet, Nintendo said plainly there will be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during this presentation, shutting down any rumors before they even begin. Apparently, this is from Nintendo UK. I was going to say United Kingdom, Nintendo United Kingdom. So I don't know. I mean, dang it, I did not want to click it. Look, I don't know exactly. I'm not like super in depth on how all this stuff works and whatnot in terms of all the different locations. But why does Nintendo UK have the ability to declare that they're not going to talk about the Nintendo Switch? Like, wouldn't, like, if anything, if it's officially from the Japan one, like, shouldn't they be the ones to announce that? And again, I'm very, at this moment, ignorant of the matter because I'm assuming there's a Nintendo based in Japan, and I'm assuming that one's like the one and not just a branch out from like the different ones all over the world. I just find it interesting that the UK official UK account is like, oh yeah, there's going to be no mention. So I don't know. If anybody can fill me in on that, that'd be great, because I'm sure at some point I will be lazy and not look into it on my own. Nintendo has played the details and even the existence of a Nintendo Switch successor close to the vest, only announcing that there would even be one earlier this year. Of course, rumors and speculations have been going on for much longer, and the dev test kits for the new platform were allegedly sent out as early as July last year. What we can expect from the upcoming Nintendo Direct is trailers and announcements for upcoming games in the latter half of 2024. And when is that happening? Oh, literally tomorrow. Okay. It's going to be around 40 minutes, apparently. There you go. And it's literally right there, too. I don't know why I was looking up here when I could have just easily looked there. Well, there you go. Well, at least to the UK, there's going to be no talk of the Nintendo Switch successor. Greg, I had bad allergies, and it's understandable. I mean, I went to an allergy specialist, and of course, they're like, oh, do the thing where, we constantly poke you, you got to pay for lab work, and then you can come in, and then we can start slowly, like, increasing your tolerance and stuff like that. And it's like, man, sucks. I don't want to do that. I'll just take a Zyrtex or something. But again, ever since COVID, that one article said, or with Uzaki-chan or whatever her name is. I already forgot the name. Things last longer. So here's one that's a rather old one, around 4 days ago. A Capcom survey confirms that players care more about exhilarating gameplay than superb graphics. You think? So in finally providing actual numeric evidence in support of the ever-growing player sentiment, the results of a recent Capcom player survey have confirmed that more than, so deep narratives or ultra-realistic graphics. Okay, damn it, bounding into comics. Okay, let me read this again, because right now I'm like, what is this run-on sentence? In finally providing actual numeric evidence in support of the ever-growing player sentiment, the results of a recent Capcom player survey have confirmed that more than so deep narratives or ultra-realistic graphics, what players actually want from their video games are genuinely good gameplay experience. Why does this read so weird to me? Like, couldn't they just say, in finally providing actual numeric evidence in support of their ever-growing player sentiment, the results of a recent Capcom player survey has confirmed that, and then you could just say people want more than just an so deep, I don't know why. Never mind. Any grammar people, like, is this a run-on sentence? I feel like this is a run-on sentence, and that's why I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on? Am I just retardo? Which usually the time, yes. What players actually want from their video games are genuinely good gameplay experience. I already read that. So that's from Street Fighter. So wait, they actually have like animated cutscenes in Street Fighter 6 apparently. So hosted between February and April of 2024, the Capcom Super Election was an open survey which asked players from around the world for their opinions on 10 Capcom-related topics, including their favorite studio character, which game they would like to see receive a sequel, and what exactly they look for from the developers' offering. Did people put down like not being a woke piece of garbage for certain things? So receiving a final total of 254,148 global responses, most of which came in order from the United States, Japan, and Brazil, the survey's results revealed such insights as Devil May Cry 5 being the studio's currently most popular title, not surprising, Mega Man being the second most popular franchise in both the world and Japanese markets, I can see it, and that regardless of gender or location, the fans absolutely love the character of Dante. Okay. Also, as an aside, you're telling us Mega Man is that popular and yet the Blue Bomber can't get any new adventures? Very true. I do agree with that. Get your act together, Konami. Or Capcom. Well, Konami, too, should get their act together for certain stuff. However, perhaps most interesting among these informational reveals was the hierarchy regarding what players were looking for in the developers' games. So, according to the results, players are most concerned with whether or not a given game offered, quote, exhilarating gameplay with pretty much over 155,000 votes, unique and attractive characters with less than 140,000 votes, and unpredictable and exciting stories with pretty much 95,500 votes. So from there, memorable and moving background music, over 80,000. Depth for repeat play is 77,000. High difficulty levels to feel accomplished and superior, close to 70,000. And novel worldview, 41,000. As you can see, I'm kind of rounding them. Each appear to be of some importance to players, though not critically so. And finally, as evidenced by their spot in the hierarchy's bottom three, those elements which players considered least important to the enjoyment of a given game were superb graphics at a whopping roughly 35,000, because you see that 6 rounded up, or however you want to round, I don't care. The ability to, quote, play with players worldwide, and the offering of a unique first-time experience or new genre. Congratulations, Capcom. You finally got a survey of what gamers have been telling you all along. That this stuff right here, try not to swear as much, but this stuff right here is what gamers don't give a crap about. Mostly because superb graphics should just be a given at this point. So notably, the sentiment that gameplay is greater than graphics was felt near equally by worldwide and Japanese audience, with exhilarating gameplay ranking first and second, and superb graphics 8th and 7th, respectively in each region. Ouch. Oof. Hot diggity dog. There you go. So to this end, while this results may leave various marketing departments across the video game industry utterly confused, they are in reality unsurprising. The fact that any video game industry being confused, of the marketing departments being confused, just means that they're retarded. Or they're purposely woke and they don't care. After all, no matter how impressive a video game may look, despite all the potential ray tracing, face-scanned character models, and realistic hair physics a developer could possibly cram into it, at the end of the day, no one wants to play an unfun game. Exactly. And no one wants to play a glorified walking simulator as well. And no one wants to play as a de-feminized woman who should be hot, but instead made a man as well. So at current, Capcom's next major release, the feudal Japan-inspired action strategy game, Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, is set to release for the PlayStation 4 and 5 consoles on July 19th. Well, there you go. This shouldn't be a shocker to any of the marketing departments in the video game industry, but I'm sure it is. It's either feigned shockness or they don't care. I'm chalking it up to the latter, but there you go. But at least we now have actual numbers to showcase that we just want good gameplay. Alrighty. Now that Park Place had some other interesting articles here. This one definitely made me chuckle, because apparently a former Lucasfilm animation employee says he's embarrassed and ashamed to have worked at Lucasfilm? You got it right up here, and then you don't have it right down there. How do you miss a spelling error like that? John Trent, what are you doing? Again, these places just need to hire me. And then, like, you want to know what would be cool? And what did Homer say? Patent, current patent or something when he's like doing when he used that garbage can to like crack people's backs. And he's like talking, like revealing it, and he uses the words where it's like current packing, pretty much to say like no one can steal this idea from me. That's what I should do. I should do this idea is that, guys, hire me, put me on the team, write your article, and then I'll make a video about it and point out anything that seems weird. And then you can upload like a revised version, but we can still upload the video and get a good chuckle out of it. But yeah, apparently this guy is embarrassed and ashamed because he worked at Lucasfilms. And I guess after seeing The Acolyte, it shattered his mind. So a former Lucasfilm employee recently shared that he's embarrassed to have worked on Star Wars in the wake of The Acolyte releasing to Disney+. The employee, who runs a channel called Knee Pain, okay, interesting, detailed he was at Lucasfilms when the company was sold by George Lucas to the Walt Disney Company. Interesting. He detailed, I was there when that happened and watched 90% of my coworkers get laid off. I was the lucky enough to survive that layoff. I use the word lucky loosely, but I was there during the transition. I'll admit early on there was some hope. There was hope because they sat down, Kathleen Kennedy, in a presentation of the company, and they showed us something we had never seen before under George, and that was a 10-year plan. I actually felt really good about that. They said, there's going to be 3 more movies. We're all really excited. Oh, well, no. Why did he private it? I hope he's not getting bullied. Okay, I didn't see anything there. There was a nice picture of Camelot. Well, that sucks. He then shared, I left some years after that. I've been gone for about 7 years now, and I talked about this in another video when the 3rd set of trilogies came out, The Force Awakens and the whole thing with Rey. I try to block a lot of it out. Actually, I don't remember the names of all those episodes that came out under Kathleen Kennedy, but I remember going to the crew screenings and coming out not really feeling it, right? And then having the audacity and the nerve at work to say, yeah, I didn't really like it, and then starting to find out who the real fanboys are. And I'll tell you what, some of the biggest fanboys you'll find and the most toxic work there. Well, I don't doubt. I mean, if I take your words here at face value and you actually did work here, I'll tell you right now, those people that are toxic that you're saying that actually work there, they're not fanboys or fans at all. If you're talking that you survived and then you saw all these new people get hired on, and they're the ones that when you said, yeah, I wasn't really too sold on it, and they got ass mad about you saying that, they're not the fans. They were diversity hires. They were DEI hires. Feel pretty confident in saying that. He goes on apparently to say, because you weren't allowed to not like it. If you had an opinion, best keep it to yourself. People would make you very, very uncomfortable, he asserted. We'll make them uncomfortable back. Call them fags. I mean, you might get fired for saying that. But I mean, it sounded like you at this point did not give a crap, and your heart and soul were destroyed. Apparently, sounds like. I mean, I would just giggle, and then if it's like, we're gonna have to let you go because you're using very inappropriate and I don't know, bigoted wording or something, I'd be like, eat my butthole, you know. Like, whatever. You guys suck. You're bastardizing a series. Or
shut up, bitch!
With that exact expression too. I love that look on The Rock. He's just like, I actually had to say that to you, like, because you just don't get it. I really was not happy with the culture of the life there. It had changed a lot, he went on to state. Well, there's one of the reasons why. Later on in the video, he detailed how coworkers at Lucasfilms lost their minds at him because he noted he did not like the character of Rey. He said, "I remember a personal experience being in the studio." Being in the studio and being like, I don't know if I really like the character Rey. And just like my coworkers just losing their ever-loving shit at me. Really getting pissed off at me because I didn't like it. Furthermore, he relayed that you could not express negative opinions regarding Disney Star Wars, claiming it was taboo. Cancellation. So, you want to know what would be interesting? If this guy is legit true and this source is actually legit true, Gina Carano should talk to this guy. This could possibly help her with the lawsuit. Interestingly, he went on to reveal that Dave Filoni has been driving significant creative choices going as far back as the Clone Wars. He explained Dave has had power for a long time. He's even had power back to the Clone Wars days to carefully push back on certain decisions. When it came to Clone Wars, because definitely earlier on, George drove it all, but there was definitely a point, can't really tell you what season it was, where Filoni, and rightfully so, if you're the supervising director, you need to stand up for the project at some point. He did the right thing in standing up to George. Wait, he's agreeing with this? Did he make it worse? Still later in the video, he reacted to the Acolyte in the show's third episode. The episode depicts May lighting a candle, throwing it at the room she locked her sister into, and attempting to burn her sister alive. Wow. What an asshole. It also shows this fire apparently spreading throughout an entire fortress. Just one match and whoosh. Did she like secretly douse the entire fortress in gasoline or something? Or is this something new with the Force? The Force can now, or not the Force, the thread can now apparently catch fire. Eventually, a scene shows the coven of lesbian witches laying on the ground dead as one of the Jedi escorts Osha out of the fortress. Her sister May fell down a shaft and was believed to be dead. That's it? They just fell down a shaft and they couldn't censor? Dude, even in writing, this sounds terrible. Oh my gosh. I mean, in terms of reading this out loud. Oh my gosh. He says, you see little tidbits like this. I don't need to see the whole thing, honestly, to know that there's really bad writing involved. I mean, it already sounds awful. This is just so cringy outside the blasted song. That was awful. The power of one, the power of many. And then the guy who composed that, like, in a video clip going like, I wanted to make something, you know, real. I don't know why I made him Jimmy Stewart, but I wanted to make it sound like it's coming from, like, all the different parts around the world, you know, like from Africa and stuff like that, even though, you know, when it comes to, like, an entire galaxy far, far away, like, no one gives a shit about Africa, you know? They wouldn't know what Africa is. I don't know if he said those exact words, but pretty much he was like, I wanted to take all the, like, the different cultures of our world and, like, put it together to showcase that it's all, you, like, made some spiel just to pretty much cover up on how, like, absolutely awful of a job you did. Honestly, between... Oh, no. Then after watching a clip of Coril... Dude, I made a comment about this in one of my past episodes, but they literally opened up an oceanic, like, term book and just went down the list and said coral, OSHA, because it sounds like ocean. I wouldn't be surprised if there's people like, you know, starfish, you know, barnacle. Suds. Okay, so he watched a clip of Coral telling Mother Anicia that she carried the twins and Mother Anicia informing her that she created them. He said, honestly, between clips like that and this overwhelming negative responses by the fans, why on earth would I want to subscribe to Disney Plus to actually watch this so I could have an informed opinion? My opinion's informed enough. Next, he declared, it used to be kind of nice to have that part of life on the resume. It made for a good icebreaker, especially when I got out of the industry. Now it's kind of embarrassing, actually. It really actually kind of is Embarrassing. Ouch. He later added, I can't believe I'm actually kind of ashamed a little bit. Now, with that said, I think I'd be more ashamed if I worked at Lucasfilms for the past 6 to 8 years. That's definitely worth being ashamed of. I left before things got really bad. Oh man, he's going ham. But I'm still kind of ashamed. Still kind of ashamed, and I do feel bad for the fans. Finally, he concluded his video informing viewers that Star Wars is not going to get any better. I've known for a long time it's not going to get better. Could have told you a lot of this from my personal experience and what I've seen, what I know. It was never going to get better. I knew they were going to be doubling down, quadrupling down on their position and just keep going in that direction. And here it is. A lot of people are saying, okay, that's it. The episode 3 of Acolyte has killed Star Wars. I disagree with that one. I think we have yet to see Star Wars truly die, he said. They're going to take it one step further. Just you wait and see. We have yet to see their final form. This is not the end boss. We have yet to actually see the end boss, the true bottom of the barrel of the abysmal thing they call creativity at that company. We have yet to see its final form. These are mini bosses. Oh, wow. He's really going hard with the end bosses here. Leslie Headland, she's a mini boss. I think Kathleen Kennedy's a mini boss, honestly. Is Filoni the final end boss? Who knows? Who knows? But it is going to get worse. Just you wait. It's going to get worse. I guarantee, he concluded. What do you make of this former Lucasfilm animation employee being ashamed of having worked on Star Wars? I'm a little disappointed that he made the video private. I just want to make sure that that this is verified at least. I mean, I'm just reading the article. Go out and find out if it's true or not. I'm taking this just at face value. But yeah, it really shows Lucasfilm is running like a far left echo chamber. Yep. I mean, that's just Hollywood in general. But there you go. This guy sounds very sad. Good one. Sounds very sad. Like I said, there was other interesting ones too. Apparently Inside Out 2 is actually doing good because it's just telling a good story as opposed to pushing. Oh, my nose. Pushing. I don't even remember what I was going to try to say. I got too caught up with a supposed sneeze I felt was coming along. So this is saying too. Nintendo of America manager James Wong describes gamers opposed to wokeness as angry bigots previously encouraging racism against white people. Ooh, we gotta. Oh, this is today. This is again from John Trent. Ooh, we got to read this one. So James Wong, a content production system manager at Nintendo of America, isn't that located in California? If so, we know exactly what this douchebag's going to say. Declared gamers who rightfully oppose wokeness in video games as, quote, angry bigots. Dude, that's all they can say. They can't say anything anymore. Dude, literally went down the SJW checklist and just said angry bigots. He previously called for and encouraged racism. He previously called for and encouraged racism against white people. I was like, kind of hypocritical to be calling people bigots and then to go out and say, but it's white people. Remember, folks, this means Asian people too, according to these people. Because Asian people are white adjacent, you know? Oh, this douchebag? Oh, I seen this. Yeah, Wong's comments came in the wake of ex-user Esco Coaches, or whatever, questioning the current crop of video games, asking, so if it ain't DEI and corporate BS, why do modern games suck complete cheeks compared to the past? Are you defending the state of the industry? So then ex-user Airbag responded writing, 2024 is fucking stacked with amazing games, and Dawn Trial isn't out yet. Oh, and Shadow of the Erdtree isn't out yet. And Astrobot isn't out yet. Shut the fuck up. Wow, those sound... I have yet to hear any of those. These are the first times I've heard of those games. So here comes James... Oh, this guy. I heard this guy is... So James Wong responded to this comment, writing, "Feels like all these angry bigots were better people before their con idols gave them terms they should get mad about when those terms are accepted that have been around forever." No. Oh my gosh. The projection from this guy is amazing. Dude, projection every single time. Oh my gosh. And then he apparently, quote, "You mean the thing I like from 2000 is woke? Always has been." No, it's not a fact that it was been woke. It's because the story, like, that was in the story, you know, and the message wasn't super heavily pushed. Dude, I don't believe this guy for a fucking second. Look at him. He can't even name a game. You mean the thing I like from 2000 is woke? Always has been. What about what from 2007 was, or from 2000 was woke? Give me a specific. Unsurprisingly, Wong is an inherent of identity politics and attempts to weaponize language to push the ideology. Back in 2020, he wrote, "Am I the only one who's had a problem with the term PC master race because it feels like something a white person would say to make others feel inferior?" You do have a problem because that's actually how you see it. He continued, "Much in the same way the computer terms master and slave don't live completely rent-free in my head. I know, weird." In a follow-up, he added, "It's more of a something-something socioeconomic superiority complex thing going on, a flex on having more money and accessibility than others, than implying that others won't, can't, or shouldn't." He then linked a Wikipedia entry for master race writing. I'm well aware that there's this too. Oh my gosh. Furthermore, in January 2021, he claimed rioters at the White House on January 6th did not want people like him to live. He wrote, "I wrote this in a reply to the solo retweet, but I'll say it here for posterity. These are fellow Americans who don't want human beings like me to exist. They may not say it, but the true intention lies within. They don't care about anything else and can't see that that they're the sheep." No, James, you're the sheep because you're just projecting that onto those people when you literally just admitted up further that that is how you view life. Because you got pissed off because of the term PC master race, because you saw the words master race and got immediately mad about it, and then you had the gall to project that onto people. And he probably was like, Black Lives Matter too, when, hate to say it, study shows that the majority of crimes against Asian people are done from black people, but you're not going to admit that because you're a bitch. He then listed examples that he claims he was subjected to racism and prejudice. Oh, here we go. First, he wrote, "Moments that I can recall the strongest, sure, where I've experienced racism and prejudice. Rest Stop Diner between San Francisco and LA." Why are you living in LA then? I thought LA and San Francisco is the shining example where diversity and inclusion shines. Trucker cap wearing white man looked at me when I emerged from the restroom. Sitting down with coffee mug in hand, he looked at me and just shook his head. What were you wearing? A trucker cap. What were you wearing? Did you have any sort of paraphernalia on you? Wait. I don't know why I said paraphernalia. Let me... No, I was right. Anya, that like showcase that you pretty much projecting your ideology on you. Dude, you have, oh my gosh, that is the gayest thing ever. Next, he posted, "On my move to Cali to Washington." So you went from one woke state to another. "While driving through Oregon, I slowly drove past, I'm assuming, a trucker with a banner that said diversity is a code word for white genocide. It set a tone from the rest of the day." Oh, fuck right off. You beta bitch. "And I was uncomfortable when I ate lunch alone in a small town subway." Oh my gosh. Wong then questioned, "What are their motives? From my perspective, racial superiority, control, and greed." Dude, that is everything that your side is doing. Gosh, the projection from these people are stupid. It is absolutely stupid. And the self-awareness is like next to nothing. It's either that and they're the sheep that they project onto other people by saying, no, you're the sheep. Or they're purposely like lying to themselves. Gosh. These folks are all about us versus them. Oh my gosh. Dude. Never mind. In short, it's like they don't want people of color to exist. No, you don't want a specific color to exist. You're the one that doesn't want a specific color to exist because you've built up this victimhood mentality that thinks everybody's out to get you. When no one gives a fuck about your damn ethnicity. No one does. To the point where people who are like, I'm just going to hire people who's good at the job. And you would probably say, I wasn't hired because of my race or my gender. He concluded, some more perspective. It's these same people who don't care about someone like me, but also younger children, youth, older people. They attack the meek with words and physical harm. Oh. I have to tell my parents in their late 70s to be safe. Oh my gosh. I wonder how many of this guy, because apparently when this is, he only got like 11 hearts. Anyway. I'm not reading. Okay, let's scroll down here. Oh my gosh, this is like his monologue. Holy crap. He just keeps going. Ironically, an article written in Thought Catalog confirmed that diversity is indeed code for white genocide. That's funny. In 2015, Emily Goldstein wrote an article titled, Yes, Diversity is about getting rid of white people, and that's a good thing. Oh, yeah, I remember seeing that. She's a bitch, too. She wrote in the article, one of the more common memes that I've seen white supremacists spread around recently has been diversity is a code word for white genocide. The concept here is that diversity is only promoted in white nations, and that the end goal is to eliminate white people altogether by flooding all white countries with non-white people until there's no white people left. Well, guess what, white supremacists? That's exactly right. Diversity is about getting rid of white people, and that's a good thing. She even concludes the article writing, so yes, white supremacist, diversity. Well, okay. Is she white? Why do I feel like she's a fat, white, dyed hair lesbo? If discrimination is creating inequity, then it's racist. Kendry makes it clear in his book, How to Be an Anarchist, that it really means to be racist. He wrote, the defining question is whether the discrimination is creating equality or equity or inequity. If discrimination is creating equity, then it is or anti-racist. Did I say anarchist? Anti-racist. Sorry. If discrimination is creating inequity, then it's racist. He then elaborates, someone reproducing iniquity through permanently assisting an overrepresented racial group or growth into wealth and power is entirely different than someone challenging that iniquity by temporarily assisting an unrepresented racial group into relative wealth. Whatever. It is clear that he is endorsing discrimination based on one's skin color, and that is exactly what Wong is doing. Of course, because these people have always been the real racists. They always have been and always will be. Again, they've done every mental gymnastics they can to make sure that they're always right, everyone else is always wrong. And again, they cannot explain how being racist back to someone fights racism. One, it doesn't work. And number two, it's because that they're the real racists, that they're the real bigots, that they're the real this. Because you just look at their language. That's why they're policing language. It's because that's why they're redefining everything. They want that control so that they can redefine it and just have it to where people I don't like, they get this specific definition. When it gets tried to be applied to me, it doesn't count. What the fuck? This guy is messed up. Well, that one was a fun read. We skipped a lot too because I kind of got tired reading the same old shtick. It's the same word over and over and over, the same old argument points, which is he has no argument points except that he felt uncomfortable at a truck station, which, I mean, that's your own problem. I mean, Second Amendment exists for a reason if you're that uncomfortable, but you probably are anti-gun or something, or pro, gun-free zones or whatever. All right. But hey, there you guys go. That is all I have for you for today. So we're going to sign off here. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure to turn on notifications to get notified when I go live again, which will be on Wednesday in terms of the Power Up podcast. Tomorrow, I'm going to try to figure out what game I would like to start playing next. And with that being said, let us go ahead and see here. See if we can do some redirecting. I know my friend Eric is doing an interview. He's still live. We will raid my boy Eric. He's talking with author Gary Wayne. Awesome guy. I would highly recommend to pick up his book, The Genesis 6 Conspiracy. And then over on Rumble, let's see. We'll raid. Here, we'll do Camelot here. Why not? All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. You have a good rest of your night. Take care. God bless. And I will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.